This, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, is the kit list for the trek that I did to Everest Base Camp earlier this year.
Oh, wow.
It's long, isn't it?
It is long.
Okay, so that is a slight exaggeration, but there was a lot of stuff that we needed to take. And in my opinion, for good reason. The hike was 16 days long, so of course we would need a lot of things, a wide variety of things. We would be hiking in the mountains, where weather is unpredictable and changeable. We would be hiking at high altitude in a foreign country, and any number of ailments could befall us. And really, it's the sort of trip that someone would invest a lot of money into and a lot of time training. So you want to be adequately prepared so that you can maximize comfort and really get the most enjoyment out of such a trip. Did I use all of the kit that I took with me? No. That doesn't mean to say that I might not have needed it, and it doesn't mean to say that I wouldn't take it if I were to do the trip again. Next time, we might have colder weather. Next time, I might get altitude sickness. Next time, my gear might fail on me, and I'll be very grateful for the backup that I took with me. Tonight, though, I've picked out 5 of my favorite items, aside from the obvious backpack and hiking boots. 5 items that I found really useful and greatly enhanced the enjoyment of my trip. So, my first item is a buff. What's a buff, I hear you ask?
I did.
Well, I asked myself the same question, but it really was the most versatile item. I used it for so many things. It's basically a tube of material that you can wear in various ways around your neck and your head, depending on what you need for that day. So mostly, we wore it around our noses and our mouths, like this. It kept me warm, it kept the dust from out of my lungs, and, if I can be a little crude, it caught a lot of nose drips. When you're exercising in cold weather, noses drip a lot. And believe me, you don't want to be stopping, taking your gloves off in the freezing cold weather, fumbling around for a tissue every time you need one. So, by the end of the trip, the buff for me stood for Best Undoubted Friend Forever, BUFF. I loved it. The dripping noses, annoying at best, sore at worst. The antidote is my next item. Petroleum jelly. I think Vaseline is probably the most famous brand amongst Westerners. What a marvelous invention. I used it for everything. It went on everything. It went on my sore nose a lot. It went on my eyes when they were irritated from the dust. It went on my lips when they were cracked from the wind. Anyone got chafing? Petroleum jelly is your answer. It's an absolute must. So, my next item, or 2 items really, I'm cheating a bit. Camera and a tripod. Whoops. It might seem a bit obvious, but for me it's really important, because when you get back from a trip, you get caught up in the busyness of work and life, and those memories quickly fade fast. I love looking over my photos again and again and reliving the experience, remembering the sights and the sounds. The tripod I love because those self-portraits don't always cut it. You can take group photos and no one is missing from it. And also they're brilliant for if you want to take those low-light, long-exposure panoramas at dawn or dusk. My next item. These hut booties. These booties, I think, demonstrate excellently that comfort is inversely proportional to style. I had never needed anything like this before, and they weren't on the official kit list, but someone had recommended that I take them. And oh man, I was so grateful that I did. After a day's 8 hours, 9 hours of hiking, I was able to take off my heavy boots and slip my feet into these cozy, snuggly, soft, warm booties on the cold evenings. It was absolute bliss. I highly recommend them. And so, to my final item. And this is an item that I recommend you keep very accessible, because you never know when you might need to pull it out. So I keep mine in my hip pocket. This is an item that you cannot buy in the stores. And it is determination. Hiking at high levels, where the air is thinner and oxygen is hard to come by, is hard. You become breathless, you become fatigued very easily, and you may even start to regret embarking on such a trek in the first place. We came across a saying though when we were in the Himalayas, and it went, "It's all about attitude, not altitude." And that is so true. You need to be motivated, you need to be determined if you're truly to appreciate what the Himalayas have to offer. It's a hard hike. It's hard hiking at altitude, and so determination is absolutely essential. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you or anybody you know is considering embarking on the Everest Base Camp hike or something similar, you now know my five favorite items that you should not leave at home. A buff or two, petroleum jelly, camera and a tripod, hut booties, and determination. Thank you very much.